Hi wildlings, welcome to the new studio. I'm so excited about it. So here's our little filming place and let's just get right to work. So per Liz's request, some hips things, and I'm so excited because we can do blanket sliding things again. If you don't have, if you're on a carpet or something like that, what you can do is grab some paper plates, something along those lines, and they should slide around on a carpet. So make sure that you have something to slide with and something to cushion up your knee if your knee likes that. And from here, take your right knee and stand it on your cushioned surface, and then extend your left leg out long to the side. Whether your foot is out to the side or turned in is largely an effect of your own bony anatomy and comfort. Hi friend, you gonna help out? Let's see how this goes. Find this position and then go ahead and just kind of cock your hips off to the side like you're a sassy yoga pants model. Clearly I'm not. And then take your hand to your left bony hip point and push it forward and up. And then can you keep that movement going so that you could feel your hip points lifting away from your thigh bones? Can you lift your back ribs away from your lower back? It's harder to bring the blanket back in than it is to take it out, so be judicious in how far you start to slide the blanket out and pull it back in. Slide the blanket out. Now can you keep that lift of your hip points? And now if you took the blanket out but had to do this swoop to get it back in, that's not a problem. It's just a fundamentally different movement and more going into your waist rather than to your strong adductors, your inner thighs, which is part of your whole pelvic girdle to keep you happy and healthy and held in place. So let's try that again. Find that lift from the inside out and start to slide out an amount that you can pull back in with control. Let's add some arms. Taking it out and pulling it back in. Sliding up and pulling back in. As you slide back in, can you feel the base of your spine and imagine that you could lift it up like an umbrella closing, and then it might drop down a little more, your pelvic floor, and then finding a lift from the inside out. Let's try 5 more on this side. Taking that out and pulling back in. Here's 4. And in. Oh, thank you, Neely. 3. And in. 2. And in. Last one like this, your spoiler alert. Take that out, now pull it halfway in, but keep that sense of resistance as you pull in. Reach your arms up long to the ceiling. Take yourself out over to the right, and rather than trying to lean out really far, what happens if you try to go longer up through the side of your spine? Take your right hand to your left hip point and push that in as you start to inhale. And then exhale, can you rotate your chest up to the ceiling, keeping your hip point pushing into your hand? And come back. Take that turn and in. Turn and in. Let's try 4 more. Here's 4. 3. 2. You're doing great. I trust you. And last one, like this. Come back to center. Let your right arm fall down to the floor. I'm just going to readjust a little bit. And then again, take your hand to your hip point and give it a good push in. Could you feel your rib cage moving back? And how long could you make yourself from the crown of your head down to your toes? Lift that leg up and down. Up and down. Now start to play around with this. What happens if you take your leg forward? What happens if you try to take your leg back? Ooh, I felt feelings there. So just trying to draw like a half a clock face, like you're drawing from 12 o'clock back to 6 o'clock. Maybe you're lifting straight up and down. Maybe you're drawing these little circles. Maybe like me, you're losing your balance like crazy. But let's try 4 more, whichever variation you're doing. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Cartwheel yourself back up. Here's the side bend, enjoy it. Sweep your arms long in front of you and arch and round your spine. Walk your hands over to the right and let your legs naturally follow. So now you're on all fours with your right leg extended, and you're going to start to slide the blanket back and pull it back in. So this, just working through the range of motion here, Neely's going to come and inspect. Hi, friend. And try that twice more like that. That makes it so much harder, Neely. See, I have my teachers too. And last one. And now variation 1, stay here. Variation 2, this is why it's nice to have that wall there. Your back knee is more likely than not going to want to bend here. Can you slide back? Now, can you keep your pelvis upright as you pull forward? If you've ever wanted a hip flexor stretch, here it is. Take that back in your range of motion and pull it in. And you might feel this glute starting to turn on. That's its job. If you're feeling your lower back a lot, what happens if you make 2 little okay signs and bring them to your lower back and push them in? What happens? Maybe nothing, that's okay. Let's try 3. Here's 2. And last one. Take a little break, whatever works for you. I'm just going to come down here and take a few breaths. As you're ready, curl yourself back up. Take your time, let your blood pressure recalibrate, and come to standing. Just to sense if there's any difference between the 2 sides. And for those of you who have been in my class for years, you know that this is always funny to me. And you might get a sense of one side having worked in this active stretch and the other side has not yet. So taking a few moments to recalibrate and notice. Easy breath in. Let it go. Switch your setup around so you can do the other side. We lost Neely. I think he's super offended that I didn't want to drag him around in the blanket, although I feel like it was happening. He's grouchy. He's been playing chicken all day. Well, not chicken so much as with the chicken, so it's a situation. Find this left knee padded up. Extend your right leg out. Decide on this leg. Do you prefer to have your toes out or in? Either one is great. And then have that sense of lifting, like you could make a cloud right between your thigh and your hip point, and that fullness at your back. Now remember that you gained, well, you might not remember, you gained a considerable amount of range of motion on the other side as your nervous system adjusted to you being able to handle this load. So start out judiciously, again, on this side, going just as far out as you can pull back in. So try that extending out and pull back in. And now notice again, if you slid out and had to do this swoop to get back in, It's not gonna hurt you. That's a great exercise. Do that on your own, or I'll make another video with it. But it's a fundamentally different movement. So can you keep your pelvis up and down as you go out and in? Let's add some arms. Out and in for 6 and in 5, 4, 3, 2, getting distracted by the chicken, and 1. Pull in halfway and keep that sense of resistance, and then reach your arms up long to the ceiling. How long could you grow your spine as you lean off to the side? Take your left hand to your right hip point, crossing your body, and push your hip point into your hand. So it's not really a tuck or a tilt, it's just more of a push to feel that pressure. Lean out a little bit more. Keep your hip glued to your hand, and then see if you can rotate your chest up to the sky and back to center. Rotate up and back for 6, 5, 4. Play with the breath pattern here. Which one works better for you to inhale and exhale? Last 2. Last 1. Come on back to center. Side bend. Curl that up. Come to hands and knees. Just scooching back. Arch and round your spine. There's a chicken coming in my front door. I'm not even kidding right now. Excuse me 1 second. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Come back later, friend. It's a very new world order in my life. All right, from here, where were we? Okay, thank you for that. Turn your whole body to the left, and your legs will naturally figure out what to do. Don't think about it too hard. And then slide back and forth. Just let these feel good. What if you had permission to take the effort out just to feel yummy? Now, keeping in mind that the advanced variation is always the variation that's right for you today, decide, would you like to stay right there? Maybe you bend your back knee and figure out your balance on this leg and have that same sense of pelvis lifting and your lower back getting fuller. Grab your balance or touch a wall. Totally legit. I find this very difficult. And then slide back and pull forward. Slide back. And you might even feel as you're coming in a little squeeze in your glute, which is great. It's extending your hip, which is what we want here. Let's do 4, 3, 2. We forgot something. Sorry. Last one. No rest for the weary. Go ahead and come back to this position and cartwheel yourself back up. Reach your arms up. Cartwheel your left hand down to the floor, and then find that same feeling of pressing your hips forward and your rib cage back, and then lift your right leg up and down, up and down. Now start to play around with the angle. How far could you move your leg around as you keep your upper body somewhat still? Try 6 more wherever you're finding yourself. Maybe you like to make circle movements. Maybe stay in lines, maybe faster or slower. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift that back up. Let's do another side bend. And then again, cartwheel your hands down. Rotate to your left, and then take your little break. So slightly different than a pigeon stretch. You're just tucking yourself under. And if you've got a lot of flesh here, or just for any reason, you might come up onto your tippy fingers, or maybe stack your fists and rest a few breaths. Easy breath in, let it go. Draw that back in. Take your time and come up to standing. And take a few breaths to notice what it's like to stand in your body now. Easy breath in. Let it go. Amazing work. Let me know, as always, if you have questions. Let me know what you're feeling and experiencing. And remember that when you share your experiences, other people get a sense of what it's like, so that you all know that there's so many different ways to feel one movement. Everybody's going to feel it different because we're all in different bodies. So please feel free to share, and I will see you next time. Thanks, wildlings.